Example of how we evaluate pre-harvest sprout. It's just a 1 to 7 scale, where 1 is no sprouting whatsoever, 7 is pretty much every seed in that head sprouted. And perhaps I haven't properly defined pre-harvest sprout yet, just in case there isn't anyone here who understands. That's when the seeds just sprout in the field because it's too wet. So you've already gotten your seeds to essentially dry down. You haven't had a chance to get out there and harvest it. It rains, and then 2 days later, your seed heads look something like this. And obviously that's not going to work. You're going to lose a whole bunch of your yield. Even if you can harvest that, you're going to have a huge decrease in your quality metrics. You know, you'll probably end up seeing much poorer falling numbers or something like that in a test. So previous grad student to me started working on one pre-harvest sprout gene in winter wheat that has been called PHS1, but we also refer to it as MFT, or the mother of flowering time gene. And there's 4 copies of the mother of flowering time gene in hexaploid wheat. 1 on the A genome, 2 on the B, and 1 on the D. So the previous projects demonstrated that the pre-harvest sprout tendency, or the seed dormancy, was directly affected by allelic difference for that MFT-A copy. We have done subsequent research, and we have shown that both the B1 and the B2 copies also impact pre-harvest sprout. We haven't found that out yet for the D copy, but so far all the germplasm that we've screened in spring wheat, winter wheat, and durum wheat that we grow here in Montana have been completely fixed for the D genome copy. So if it does have an effect, we don't have an allele in our population to determine that. But we do now know that stacking wild type copies, fully functional copies of MFT-A, B1, and B2 promote the most amount of dormancy in spring wheat, in winter wheat, and durum. This chart that we have here shows a distribution of the susceptibility to pre-harvest sprout that we see in lines here in Montana. Most spring and winter wheats have a pre-harvest sprout score that's in the 2 to 3 range, but we do tend to start getting higher in some of the other lines. When we took a look at our durum stuff over last year, we moved on to durum and looked at dormancy there. And the good news is in durum, most durums have a 1 to 2 on that pre-harvest sprout score. Durums are fairly dormant. When I do an allelic screen of our durums, most copies of MFT in most of our durums are wild type. There again, more indication that the wild type functional copies of this gene promote that dormancy and prevent that pre-harvest sprout.